Today's situation, fat phobia. There is a whole body positivity movement going on because the question is, are fat bodies really unhealthy? Let's have a conversation about it right now.
Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Real situations, real conversations. Empowering the community leads to elevation. Entertainment and education, no better time than now. Pure enlightenment for the crowd. This is Situations and Conversations.
Hey, welcome to Situations and Conversations. I am your host, Trey Renee. So happy that you are joining us today, especially for this particular conversation. There is a whole movement around body positivity. This whole fat phobia and fat shaming thing that's going on is really not okay. It's a whole situation, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. I'd like to introduce you to my esteemed guest today. Her name is Dr. Nadia English-Williams, and she is a naturopath physician as well as a midwife. Dr. Nadia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right on into this, because I know that like at the forefront of this movement right now, at least as far as social media or in the public eye, somebody like Lizzo, who is like, hey, I am here, I am in all my glory, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. But a lot of people seem to be having some sort of problem with not only like Lizzo's weight or the fact that she loves herself, right? This is why I wore this sweatshirt today, right? Because we do need to love more, but people have an issue with the fact that she's embracing her body and she's unapologetic. And so I'm not understanding what's going on here. Dr. Nadia, can you help weigh in? I know that this is a topic that is near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely. So first things first, you're absolutely right. It's a thing, it's a movement. There's so much talk and so much a buzz around it. And I think the thing that's confusing a lot of folks is that there probably needs to be a balance between the two. First of all, if Lizzo loves her body and loves herself, that's her business and hers alone. What we encounter though, oftentimes is people's assumptions and biases that come from many years of conditioning, a lot of societal conditioning, that look at a fat body and say, that's an unhealthy body. So when they come to Lizzo, they say, oh, you know, out of concern for your health, we're concerned about you. What are you doing? Is it really okay to be a size like this?
And she's like, yes, it is, and so are so many people.
Absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit more about that. So there is this myth, right, that people who have, and I don't even know, is it okay to say fat? Like
In some circles, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Fat is not a bad word.
Okay, let's call it out. Okay, so people who have fat bodies or have some fat, that they are automatically unhealthy. You say that's not true.
Absolutely not. And in fact, there's a lot of scholarship around it. People have, for years, have come out and came up with other proxies for health, BMI, for example. So we always talked about and kind of beat around the bush. But the thing is, when we look at a person, we can't tell that a person's healthy or not. That goes for thin bodies too. And so when we talk about a body that has excess fat, yes, there probably is some degree of metabolic dysfunction occurring, but there's so much to a person besides their fatness. We want to talk about your hormones, your energy levels. Are you sleeping well? How's your mood? All of this can inform a person's, fat levels on their bodies, but some of these things can actually be okay and healthy in a person with a fat body even, but we just don't know that. We gotta check our assumptions.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about that. These assumptions and these stereotypes, where do you think they came from?
So there, again, is a lot of scholarship around this as well. And so I like to reference Sabrina Strings. She has this book called Fearing the Black Body, and it is so beautifully written. She talks about the historical origins, which it might come as a surprise to some, but it is rooted in anti-Blackness. And so when we had European folks come visit the colonies and they saw enslaved Africans, they would say things like, oh, look at that body, it's grotesque, it's large. And so it was a way to other a person or another group, right? And when you other that group, you're able to subjugate them to less humane conditions. We're denying them humanity, right?
Yes, that's cognitive dissonance, right? Where you can sort of kind of rationalize yourself around something that's not necessarily true to make it okay that you treat people a certain way.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to trick your brain, right, into thinking, oh, well, if they're not a person, then I don't have to treat them like a person. I could treat them like an animal.
Right.
And hence, you know, a lot of the stereotypes that have been born in this country. Oh, just, it makes me so upset, but I get it. You know, we're going to break it down piece by piece. But so like you said, I remember seeing images of women with beautiful, thick bodies, and that was celebrated long time ago. But somehow the shift came to being, you know, thin is right. And it's not all that normal for a lot of people.
Exactly. And so going back to that historical separation, right, we define what it means to be a healthy or well-valued body, and its thinness, its proximity to whiteness. Mm-hmm. And I will say that Black women especially, I give us kudos because we have resisted the most to this narrative, right? We've had so much resilience around it and working to define ourselves for ourselves. And it's really great to see that the scholarship is coming forth, where we're seeing more literature about people, Black people especially, not being especially adherent to the BMI scale, for example, right? We know that Black women's bodies especially are in fact healthier compared to their European descended counterparts when you match them BMI for BMI. So those are the things we want to talk about.
Yeah, BMI, let's talk about this. Let's break this down because I hear it all the time. That's the body mass index.
Correct.
What determines what's healthy, according to BMI or otherwise?
Absolutely. So this is one thing that actually grinds my gears the most because, and we spoke of cognitive dissonance, right? You know, I feel as a clinician, I have to use BMI, unfortunately, to codify certain things for insurance reimbursement purposes for people. But essentially, BMI was created by a scholar to talk about population health. It was a way to systematize or make more systematic conversations around certain body types and certain diseases or likelihood or propensity to developing certain conditions and diseases. It was never intended to talk about individual bodies and whether or not they have a certain propensity to develop, you know, said diseases and conditions.
Huh. So then how did we get there? Money,
you know,
insurance panels.
Yes, and so we're always thinking about making things more efficient, right? Efficiency, time means dollars. So if we can put people in certain boxes and bubbles, we can then determine what health services, medications, procedures that they can or cannot qualify for, and it completely negates the person's health status to begin with.
Oh, this is complicated. I mean, you know, like I came into this conversation thinking, oh, we're just going to learn a little something and how to love our bodies, but this is so much deeper than that. It's rooted in so many systemic issues as well, healthcare system, just natural bias. So let's go back just a little bit. Fat versus obese. Are they two different things?
So I guess to use the word obese, usually we're thinking about the clinical implications, right? We're thinking about those reference levels on the BMI scale, which BMI is a measure of your body weight to body height, that ratio, right?
Okay.
And so while a person can have excess fat on their body, technically on the BMI scale, they might not necessarily be considered obese. And when we talk about fat too, it's also important to recognize that there is different health implications to having fat in different parts of your body. So a person with an apple shape, for example, might have a different health status than a person with a pear shape. So that's someone who tends to develop their fat distribution around their hips and buttocks, right? It's not the fat that's around their organs that we call visceral fat.
Oh, and is that the fat around the organs, that's the kind of fat that can be potentially really harmful?
Absolutely. That's the stuff we call biologically or biochemically active fat, fat that can then turn into inflammatory things in the body, things that make our insulin and blood sugar go awry.
How do you have this conversation around weight loss without the stigma piece and making it uncomfortable?
Yeah, I love this conversation because oftentimes when I'm with the patient in my office, I get an hour for that first visit with them, and we get to talk about, well, where did this fat accumulation come from, right? Is this something that you've been carrying since your early childhood? And if so, what are the mental, psychological things that are actually behind that's probably kept that going, right? And so a lot of it comes around understanding, reflecting, and then educating ourselves around what metabolic function looks like. What are all of the hormonal and chemical changes that a body undergoes when it is a person who's actually developing more fat than they probably should. And then using that to our advantage to talk about, okay, how do we overcome those challenges metabolically to then lose fat?
Interesting.
It's a lot of education.
So you do, but you take a whole well-rounded approach because you're also trained as a naturopath.
Right.
Which is why I have to say kudos to you. I love a good old naturopath.
Thank you.
Because seriously, because you encompass all these different, you say scholarly ways, but all these different means of education over here, you got this education over here, you bring it all together for an individualized approach to your patients. What are some of the reasons why people should lose weight? So if we're out here celebrating, so-called fat bodies, why bother losing weight at all?
Yes, I think that's a good point, because realistically speaking, excess weight, right, it does have a certain burden on our joints sometimes for some bodies, right? So if you're a person who you love to be mobile, you love rock climbing, for example, but you're finding that you're having a difficult time maintaining that level of physical activity because of the extra weight, then we have to have a real conversation about it, right?
Okay, yeah, because sometimes your weight gain can impact your back, your your knees. Like I remember feeling like when I was pregnant and I was just loving just sitting up there just doing absolutely nothing, I would try and get up, and boy, let me tell you, I was like, it does make a difference on some things for some people.
Right.
But we don't want to make, what I'm learning anyways, we don't want to make the assumption that just because something might be true for you or something might be true for somebody else that doesn't make it true for everybody.
Exactly.
And stop looking at people with these judgment eyes all the time. You don't know what's going on with folks. You really don't. You could be on the mark, but you could be way off. And it's none of your business half the time anyway. Why are we so concerned about everybody's business?
Nope.
Right, Mom? Your mom's here, by the way. I just have to I love the fact that Mom is here. She is over here overseeing, so I'm making sure. I'm like, I'm all right? All right, Mom, I'm all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Nadia. Like really enlightening and really positive conversation around the whole fat phobia. We just need to just cut it out. Just knock it off. That's what I tell me. Knock it off. Okay, you don't know what's going on, and it's not really any of your business. Everybody's on their own personal journey. Absolutely. Celebrate and love you, and it'll help you love other people just a little bit more. Right?
Yep, you can say that again.
Okay, I'll say it again. Love you, and it'll help you love other people just a little bit more. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate you being here and taking time out. Thank you so much. All right, don't go away. We'll be back with more situations and conversations when we come back.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people in communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being.
Time for Artist Spotlight. This is the segment where we highlight local artists. Welcome back to Situations and Conversations. It is now time for Artist Spotlight. And our featured local artist today is Precious Hannah of Mr. OK's Essentials. I love candles. This is why you're here.
Yes.
I mean, not the only purpose that you are here in life, but here today, 100%. I love candles. You actually do a whole candle making experience.
I do, yep.
So tell me how you got started with that.
I had this idea, and I was like, we need to have people have the experience of actually creating their own vibe. It's your house. You should be able to create your own vibe.
Right? Because sometimes you get a candle and you like maybe one or two, but you can't quite find the right sense. And you're saying that you create a whole experience of actually making candles to your liking.
Yep.
Your own scent.
Not mine. Yours.
And are they soy-based? Like, tell me about the chemicals, because sometimes when you burn the candles, it's like black smoke and all that.
Yeah, not with these. So our candles are 100% soy paired with a cedar wood and wick to help the longevity of the candle. You get about 50 to 60 hours of burn time with this. The cedar wood and wick actually helps with eliminating those toxins that you were talking about with the side.
Ah, that makes sense. Plus, I like a good old wood wick, because it sounds with the little snap and
Yep.
crackle, makes it sound like you're having a little fireplace going on, even though you're just burning a candle, honey.
Yep.
Okay, so Precious, walk me through. Are we going to actually get to
Yeah,
make
we're
a
gonna
candle
make a candle
today?
right now.
Okay.
Okay. So
what do I do?
First things first, we want to put on our gloves, protection first.
Okay.
We're gonna put them on real quick. I'm gonna put mine on too. Just,
Okay.
you know.
Yes. Oh, because I'm doing all the
Yeah,
work.
you doing all the work, but
Okay,
I want
let's
to be
see how this
protected
goes.
as well.
Okay. All right. Got one down. Other one here. How long have you been making candles?
November will be 6 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you're about this life.
I'm about it.
Okay.
All about it.
All right. Well, let's. Okay, I'm.
You ready?
Safety first. I got my gloves on.
All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna actually put our wick together. So
Okay.
we have a cedar wooden wick right here. We're going to forcefully place it inside of our wick clip. So it's,
Okay. Wait. Let me put this down. And
Yep.
So just set this
Yep,
inside of here.
just go ahead, right
Woo,
inside. Bam.
okay. Oh. All
And
right.
then after we've done that, we're going to take our wick sticker, peel one side off.
That's
Yep.
this. Okay, now where do you get all this stuff? Just like supply stores, just random. I don't see this. I don't see me going to Target and doing this.
No, Target don't have this.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to supply
So
stuff.
that's the sticky
Yep,
side. So
that's
I
the
just
sticky
put it
side.
on top.
Yep, put it right there. And then you want to peel the other side off.
Okay.
Up.
Oh. Gloves. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
Now you have your vessel right here.
So this is an empty candle jar.
Yep.
But you call it a vessel.
It's
That's
a
very
vessel.
cute.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you want to place it directly in the center.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so here's the fun part. We're going to go through really quick, smell these scents, and I want you to pick out 3.
I think I have
You-
3.
You got your 3?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. So we're going to turn on our scale. So just hit the on-off button right there.
Which one is it?
This one right here. We're going to take our stir stick out.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is you're
I feel like a real chemist, by the way, right now.
chemist Trey Renee right here.
And these are so strong, they're activating all my senses, so I'm sorry if I'm sniffing, but
Oh, it's all good.
I can't help it. Okay.
So what we're going to do, this is the fun part.
Okay.
We need 15 grams. So you can
15
do
grams.
5, 5, 5. We can do some math, 10, 2, 3.
Girl, let's just give it all, everybody, equal treatment under the law. Let's give them all
Let's
5.
figure it out. We 0 over here?
We are at 0,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. So give me up to 5 grams of squirts.
Okay. Oh, almost there. Wow, it's so precise. Okay, ooh, I went a little over
It's
that
all
6.
good. It's all good.
Okay, and then this one. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, perfect 10. Okay.
And then another 5.
Okay. Now, do you sell online or? Oh,
Yes.
perfect. Oh, perfection. 15. Okay, what now?
All right, so what we're going to do right here, we're going to clear it out one more time.
Okay.
And then we're going to bring your beaker up
Okay.
to here.
So what is this now?
This is the wax. So
Hot
this is
wax.
Hot wax. The pot is always hot at Mr. OK's Essentials.
Okay. This is actually really kind of fun. Okay.
Isn't it calming?
Oh, right at 215. Okay. Okay. So now what?
All right, so we're gonna take our stir stick and we just gonna stir.
I am good at this. I'm a natural.
You are.
Precious.
You a natural.
I'm a natural.
I'm impressed.
Okay. So
We gonna
so
stir
now
it up.
what? Oh, it
Just
smells
whip-
so good. I created something
You
very
did.
special.
You did. This is your
You have
vibe
my
right here.
permission to use this for your own sales because it's going to be that fire. Okay,
Fire like the logo.
there we go. Do I,
Yeah, just-
any particular, not
That's
on the top?
Not on the top.
Ah, do I want to do even sides?
You can.
Or,
It's your vibe.
girl, I don't know what I'm doing, but it feels good. Okay,
Now,
and then,
all you gotta do is name it, and you've made your candle. That's it.
you know what?
That's it.
Perfection. That's what we calling this. Perfection. So how long before it solidifies?
So it takes about 30 minutes to solidify.
Okay.
30 minutes on a good day, 45 minutes on our Oregon 100-degree days.
Yeah, those few and far between. Okay,
yeah.
I got you. You know what? We'll deal with it. I'll put perfection on in a minute. Precious, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Mr. OK's Essentials, you need to get in touch with Precious so that you can get your own candle making situation going and create your own perfection. Get your own. Leave mine alone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more situations and conversations when we come back. Now it's time for Hey Trey. This is where you get to ask the question. Welcome back to Situations and Conversations. It is now time for, I think, fair to say, our favorite part of the show. Hey Trey, where you guys get to weigh in and we have conversations that you guys are having conversations about. So I have assembled it's a little different today. Normally it's my girl tribe. So Abibat is representing the girl tribe over here. Abibat's still hanging, but we have some newbies. We brought some testosterone to the group for a very specific reason. So I want to introduce you to Art Williams, co-owner of the influential grooming lounge and celebrity barber. Art, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Kisu Kirkwood, who is a commercial plumber. You have your own business, Kirkwood Commercial.
Kirkwood Commercial Plumbing.
So wonderful to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining the tribe.
Yes.
All right, so Abibat has a whole situation that she's been dying to bring to the table. And so you have the floor.
Well, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I have an issue. I've been questioning about how I love Black men. Do you guys love Black men as
Black
Black women?
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Yeah, let's not.
Well, I mean, there could
well, I
be.
do.
Could be. You love Black men.
Yes. But do you guys love Black women as much as we love you? I love, but you know.
I would say yes, wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. I think that Black women represent a totally different level of strength and beauty, intelligence, and also throughout history, Black women have always been the real head of the family, as far as just being resourceful and keeping everything tied together and held down. And so I would say wholeheartedly yes.
I would agree with that 1,000%.
You better.
I don't even know if 1,000% is real, but today it will be.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that 1,000%, 100%. I think Black women, like he said, are definitely the backbones of families. I mean, we exist because of Black women right now. You know, a lot of people might not admit that, but that's the truth of this whole. And they do. Black women do hold. Like, you guys do an amazing job. You ladies do an amazing job holding things down. Especially just speaking about the Black woman that I'm married to. Like, she holds it down while I go chase my dreams.
Shout out to Patricia. Yeah. We love us some Patricia.
While I chase my dreams, she holds the family together. And I get to come back home to a home.
Right? No, I totally understand. Like, it's so funny because I've been coming across gentlemen that think otherwise. I think sometimes they say that we come off a little bit harsh, that we definitely want to see them succeed. So we come in, sometimes a little aggressive if we don't feel like we're getting the the push that we're looking for. And then sometimes it might come off as it being aggressive, and have that issue where, they decided I won't date Black women because, they're too aggressive or they're too loud.
I think first of all, you have to understand that people should understand that Black women go through the same experience in America that Black men do. And so what is sometimes interpreted as hostility or aggressive, that's necessary. That's necessary to survive in America for Black people. And Black women are not exempt from that. And so everyone I know is raised by a single Black woman, by a single mom, you know what I mean? And so it's like these struggles, it comes with a certain survival instinct. And I think that, in my opinion, that's what adds to the beauty and the strength of a Black woman. You have a strong individual.
Art, like, what do you have to say about, I don't think we want to be aggressive. No. We don't want to be the alpha all in these relationships. Like, outside of the house, necessary. But sometimes when you come home, I want to be soft and pink.
Yeah, okay.
I want to feel safe and secure, and I want to be able to let all that down that I had to put on out there in order to fight for my family, fight for my rights, fight for my kids, fight for myself. I don't want to come home and fight for nothing else except, maybe the remote control, because I want to chill a little bit. But I'm saying I want to be soft and pink.
Yeah.
what do you think about, having these dual roles that Black women have, where we're out here, sometimes, earning the bacon, cooking the bacon, doing all that, and then, having to fight and struggle and to survive, and then want to come home and be like, nah.
I think personally, everybody Black is having that same battle.
Yeah.
Male, female, whatever, like we're all having that same battle. And I think nowadays, because this is like a whole barbershop conversation that could last 45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
Because there's so many layers to this. And I think I would agree with you 100% that when you walk out of the door, like you spend all of this time battling for yourself, battling for other people, standing in the gap for generations of people. And the Black man also does that as well. And when you come home, you want to come home to peace, because home is where peace should be.
Man.
You should be peace. It should be peace and safety at home.
Absolutely.
Like after you fight in these streets all day,
Right.
you don't want to come home, like you said, and have to fight again. It just reminds me of Oprah Winfrey in Color Purple.
Okay.
All my life I had to fight. But you shouldn't have to fight.
Right.
And neither should he. Like he should
Exactly.
be able to come home to peace as well.
Exactly.
And I think all of our issues or all of our situations and conversations need to be centered around just loving each other, uplifting each other, serving each other. And I think that's where we miss the mark, I think, most of the time. And I tell my friends that, I go to the barbershop and I'm there and I have 15, 16 different conversations every single day. And that's 15 different types of emotions that I'm dealing with every single day. And I had to learn to reserve some emotional energy for my family. And so I began to compartmentalize that, but I also needed to not only reserve energy for my family or just for my kids, I needed to reserve energy for my wife as well. Because she's been out there doing the same thing I've been doing all day. Maybe not, well, they say women use more words than men throughout the day, and I believe that to be very true.
Yes, we do. We express ourselves very well.
I can see that, and I can appreciate this perspective. I mean, hopefully, B-Bet, you got a little bit more hope and coming up against what you've been dealing with in the dating scene.
For sure, for sure.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I mean, clearly this conversation is necessary. The situation is very real, and we will continue to have these types of conversations as long as you continue to join us. Thank you so much for being here. God willing, we'll be back together again next week for another edition of Situations and Conversations. Until then, you know what to do. Take excellent care of yourselves, because that's the only way you'll be able to take care of anybody else, which is our mission. When you think me, think we. When you think you, think too. See you next time.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being. And thanks to Tabiba Styles for hair and makeup glam, as well as Adorn Boutiques for my wardrobe. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is shot on location at Louisa Event Space in Portland. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is a Bum Juice Entertainment production in conjunction with Thomas Chung Films, Bloom Beauty Collective, and Allen & Unger Consulting Group. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus.